The most successful people in the world don't have more hours than you. They have better hours. And right now, you're probably throwing away the most powerful 90 minutes of your entire day, the 90 minutes that could literally change your life. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Your brain operates on a biological clock that most people completely ignore. They wake up, grab their phone, scroll through social media, check emails, and wonder why they feel exhausted by noon. Meanwhile, neuroscience has proven that your morning contains a window of cognitive power so intense, so focused, that what you accomplish in that window would take you 4 to 6 hours to complete later in the day. Today, you're going to learn exactly how to unlock that window. This isn't motivation fluff. This is the science of peak performance, and it's going to transform how you approach every single morning for the rest of your life. Let's start with something your body is already doing for you, something you've been accidentally sabotaging. Every morning, approximately 30 to 45 minutes after you wake up, your body experiences what scientists call the Cortisol Awakening Response. Now, most people hear cortisol and think stress, but here's what they don't understand. Cortisol in the morning isn't your enemy, it's your biological rocket fuel. During this window, your cortisol levels surge by 50 to 75%. This surge is designed, literally designed by millions of years of evolution, to make you alert, focused, and ready to tackle challenges. Your brain is primed for problem solving. Your willpower is at its absolute peak. Your ability to resist distractions is stronger than it will be at any other point in your day. But here's what most people do with this incredible biological gift. They waste it. They check Instagram. They read news that makes them anxious. They respond to emails that drain their mental energy. They hand over their most powerful cognitive hours to other people's priorities. A study from the University of Nottingham found that people who tackle their most demanding tasks during this cortisol window complete them with 30% fewer errors and in 20% less time. That's not a small edge. That's the difference between struggling through your goals and dominating them. The lesson here is simple but profound. Stop giving away your power hours to mindless activities. Your brain is handing you a gift every single morning. It's time you started accepting it. Now that you understand the cortisol advantage, let's talk about how to actually use it. And for this, we need to understand something called ultradian rhythms. In the 1950s, a sleep researcher named Nathaniel Kleitman discovered that our brains don't operate in a constant state. Instead, they cycle through periods of high focus and low focus, roughly every 90 minutes. During the high phase, you're capable of deep, concentrated work. During the low phase, your brain needs rest and recovery. Here's where this gets powerful. Your first 90-minute cycle after waking is the strongest one. It's when your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, creativity, and complex problem-solving, is operating at maximum capacity. Anders Ericsson, the psychologist who pioneered research on expertise and deliberate practice, found that elite performers across every field, musicians, athletes, chess grandmasters, writers, they all structure their practice around these 90-minute blocks, and the most successful ones consistently use their morning block for their most important work. Consider the routine of Ernest Hemingway. He wrote every morning starting at first light, working until he hit approximately 500 words. He never wrote in the afternoon. He never wrote in the evening. He understood intuitively what science has now confirmed. The morning mind is different. Or think about the approach of neurosurgeon and author Ben Carson. Before performing surgeries that required absolute precision, he would wake early and spend his first 90 minutes in focused preparation. He wasn't checking messages. He wasn't multitasking. He was protecting his peak cognitive window for the work that mattered most. So, here's what you need to do. Identify your single most important task, the one that moves the needle on your goals more than anything else. Then protect your first 90 minutes for that task and nothing else. No phone, no email, no distractions, just deep, focused work while your brain is operating at its peak. This one change, this single adjustment, can double your productivity, not because you're working more hours, because you're working the right hours. Here's where most people unknowingly destroy their potential before their day even begins. The moment you wake up, your brain is in a unique neurochemical state. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for motivation, drive, and focus, is available but not yet depleted. Think of it like a full tank of gas. What you do in the first hour determines whether that tank powers you toward your goals or gets wasted on empty miles. Here's the problem. When you immediately reach for your phone and start scrolling, you trigger what neuroscientist Andrew Huberman calls dopamine hits from low-value sources. Every notification, every like, every interesting headline gives you a small dopamine release, and your brain learns quickly. It starts associating the morning with these cheap rewards instead of the deep satisfaction that comes from meaningful accomplishment. Over time, this rewires your motivation system. You become dependent on external stimulation for energy instead of generating it internally. You find it harder to focus on difficult tasks. You feel restless and unfulfilled even though you're constantly consuming content. One study from the University of British Columbia found that people who checked their phones within 30 minutes of waking reported 40% higher anxiety levels throughout the day and significantly lower productivity. Their morning phone use was literally setting the emotional tone for their entire day. The solution is what high performers call a dopamine reset. For the first 60 to 90 minutes after waking, you avoid all high dopamine, low-value activities. No social media, no news, no email, no entertainment. Instead, you engage in activities that are uncomfortable but rewarding. Exercise, cold exposure, meditation, or deep work. These activities release dopamine too, but through effort and achievement rather than passive consumption. And here's the magic. When you earn your dopamine through effort, your brain becomes sensitized to it. You actually need less stimulation to feel motivated. You become the kind of person who can sit down and focus for hours without needing constant entertainment breaks. This is the difference between people who feel perpetually distracted and people who can enter flow states on demand. It's not willpower, it's neurochemistry, and it starts with how you treat your morning. Here's a simple rule to follow. Nothing goes into your brain in the first hour that you didn't deliberately choose. No notifications, no algorithms deciding what you should think about. You choose the inputs. You control the chemical environment of your mind. You set the direction for your day. Now, we get to the deepest level, the level that separates people who have great mornings occasionally from people who have great mornings consistently for years. Your morning routine isn't just about productivity hacks, it's about identity. It's about who you're becoming through the accumulated choices you make in those first few hours. Every morning, you cast a vote for the type of person you want to be. When you wake up and immediately check your phone, you vote for being reactive. When you hit snooze 3 times, you vote for being someone who breaks promises to yourself. When you skip exercise, you vote for prioritizing short-term comfort over long-term health. But when you wake up with intention, when you move your body, when you protect your focus, you vote for being disciplined, healthy, and in control of your life. And over time, these votes compound. They become your identity, and identity is the most powerful force in human behavior. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, puts it perfectly. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Your morning routine is when you cast your most important votes. It's when you decide, before the world can influence you, what kind of day you're going to have and what kind of person you're going to be. Consider the story of Jocko Willink, the former Navy SEAL commander. He wakes up at 4:30 every morning, not because he naturally loves early mornings, but because that early alarm is a statement. It says, I don't negotiate with weakness. I don't let comfort dictate my choices. I am the kind of person who does hard things before most people are awake. And that identity carries through his entire day. When challenges arise, he doesn't have to summon willpower from nowhere. He's already proven to himself that morning that he can do hard things. His early wake-up is an identity anchor, a daily reminder of who he is and what he's capable of. You need an identity anchor too, something you do every morning that reinforces the person you're becoming. It could be exercise, it could be meditation, it could be creative work, it could be learning. The specific activity matters less than the consistency and the intention behind it. Ask yourself, what does the best version of me do every morning? Then do that thing tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. Not because it's easy, because every time you do it, you're building an identity that makes excellence inevitable. The truth is, your morning routine is a mirror. It reflects your relationship with yourself, your ability to keep promises, to delay gratification, to prioritize what matters over what's easy. When you master your morning, you prove to yourself that you're capable of mastery, and that belief in your own capability changes everything. Now, here's what separates people who watch videos like this and feel inspired for 20 minutes from people who actually transform their lives. Action. Tomorrow morning, you have a choice. You can do exactly what you did today, or you can implement what you just learned. Start with one change. Just one. Maybe it's putting your phone in another room before you sleep. Maybe it's protecting your first 90 minutes for deep work. Maybe it's exercising before you check email. If this content brought you value, if you learned something that can actually change your life, take 2 seconds and hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos on peak performance and mindset mastery. And drop a comment below telling me what your first morning change will be. I read every single comment, and there's power in making a public commitment. Here's the final truth you need to carry with you. The way you spend your morning is the way you spend your life. Not metaphorically, literally. Those morning hours compound, day after day, month after month, year after year. The person who protects their mornings for 5 years will be so far ahead of the person who wasted them that the gap becomes almost incomprehensible. You're not just managing your time when you optimize your morning. You're shaping your destiny. You're building the discipline, the focus, and the identity that creates extraordinary outcomes. Most people will never understand this. They'll keep hitting snooze. They'll keep scrolling. They'll keep wondering why they feel stuck. But you now have the knowledge. The question is, what will you do with it? Tomorrow morning, the sun will rise again. Your cortisol will surge. Your brain will enter its most powerful cycle, and you'll have a choice. Choose wisely. Your future self is watching. Morning routine, peak performance, productivity tips, morning habits, how to wake up early, morning motivation, neuroscience of success, cortisol awakening response, ultradian rhythms, dopamine detox, high performance habits, self-improvement, morning routine for success, stop wasting time, mindset. Master, are you wasting your most powerful hours every single morning? Science reveals that your brain operates at peak capacity during a specific window after waking, and most people completely ignore it. In this video, you'll discover the cortisol awakening response and how to leverage it for maximum productivity. Learn about ultradian rhythms and the science behind 90-minute focus blocks that elite performers use. Understand how checking your phone first thing destroys your dopamine system and motivation. Plus, discover how to build an identity anchor that transforms your morning routine from a chore into an unstoppable force for success. Based on neuroscience research from experts like Andrew Huberman and performance science from Anders Ericsson, this video gives you the exact blueprint for morning mastery. Stop wasting your mornings. Start building the life you deserve. Subscribe for weekly mindset and performance content. Comment your biggest morning change below. morning routine, peak performance, productivity, mindset, master success,